singing, mohawks, and teens dressed all in black. Punk is not a common sight in China. But if you do find a scene, chances are you're in Wuhan. Punk found its way to China with the formation of a band called SMZB in 1996.
我是朱宁，我是从96年，然后到武汉来，然后12月份呢，我们就到了武汉，我就跟吴为一起组建了这个乐队，生命之饼这个乐队。可能我们最早的听朋克音乐其实就是 Novia。科本是一个非常非常勤奋的一个人，他的那些想法、社会的、家庭的、对人的这些，他都是在他的音乐里面，他就会带动你就是要去做一些事情。
They were joined by another student they met at the Beijing Meaty School of Music. The band's name comes from the initials for 生命之饼, which means bread of life. Together, the three young men began writing and performing songs. They released an album called 50,000 in 2001, and it featured songs like this. That song ended up on a local radio station.
电台的那个 DJ 还跟我说：“我们什么时候要播，然后你可以听一下。”哇，天哪！我们在打开收音机，真的是有点惨不忍睹。完全没法听不下去，我就觉得基本上都是噪音，而且我们感觉那个演出就是非常的糟糕演的，而且就是因为第一次演出很紧张，其实我都不知道我当时是怎么打鼓的，就完全就是稀里糊涂的。
They were new and inexperienced, but SMZB kickstarted an underground punk scene in Wuhan. More bands formed, and together they lived and breathed punk music. But it was still a small scene.
所以我最多的时候要给5个月打鼓，其实好累好辛苦的，而且都是朋克乐队，就做什么都在一起，而且那个时候都是群居，对，住在一起，对，就是吃喝拉撒排练什么都在一起，所以有时候也挺烦的，你知道吧？
And just like that, Wuhan became the birthplace of Chinese punk. When fans came to the city, they would go to a venue called Vox. This was where all the underground concerts were held. This is Nathaniel Amar. He does research on modern China, specifically China's punk scene.
What happened, in fact, is that in the mid-90s, you had a sufficiently large number of people in Wuhan interested in the same music. Because when you want to create a new kind of music, you need people that are interested in that kind of music and places.
But why Wuhan instead of other big cities like Beijing or Shanghai?
In Wuhan, it's more complicated because you had a lot of working class kids and also people coming from the countryside. It has a strong working class, of course, because of its industry and all that, and also a strong also history of descent.
Wuhan was the site of an uprising in 1911 that led to the Xinhai Revolution, which overthrew China's last emperor and established a republic. Then, at the height of the Cultural Revolution in the 1960s, the people of Wuhan challenged leader Mao Zedong's policies in an armed conflict later called the Wuhan Incident.
So I think it also had a small impact on the minds of the youth. Yeah, and they also used this history. The Xinhai Revolution, for example, is used by the punks, the Wuhan punks themselves, in their lyrics.
What is the crowd like? What are the people who go for these concerts like?
Oh, it can be very different people. I saw a lot of course, punks, so people that are already in the punk community. They were students in Wuhan. They had nothing to do with punk music, but they discovered SMZB and the punk scene through these concerts at Vox, and it moved them profoundly. My deepest memory of SMZB performing was in Wuhan, because you can see that SMZB is part of the city and part of the city history. It was at Vox at the time, and it was full house. Like everybody was there, everybody was super excited.
说武汉朋克这个城市，其实我觉得有点，我现在做的很多事情，我想去颠覆这个东西，就是，当然我不是刻意呀，我其实唯一我就是想让更多的人听到武汉，更多其他的音乐人，听到不同的声音，可能在别人看起来啊，操，这就是朋克或者怎么样，但是我们没去想，就是没有去考虑它是不是朋克，我们都是年轻人，我们想表达，在中国的这个环境里面，也许可能我们需要更自由的一些表达方式。